I died. I believed that if I put in enough effort, my husband would love me, but he left me for another woman, and I was tortured to death. This time, after coming back to life, I wanted was to stay away, but he wouldn't let me go. What shocked me even more was that I had already died 998 times before. When Rihanna woke up, she found herself not in a hospital. She had been shot amidst a hail of bullets. It hurt. It hurt a lot. Warm blood was still flowing out, and she felt her whole body turning cold. But when she saw Riley pick up Aurelie, who had fallen nearby, her heart truly went cold. Riley, her husband, the man she had loved for 11 years, didn't even glance at her. He carried the woman he loved and ran out. At that moment, despair engulfed her. She closed her eyes and heard someone shout, "Someone's injured in the West Wing!" Amidst the sound of ambulance sirens, chaotic footsteps, and frantic voices, Rihanna lost her last bit of consciousness. She thought she would die. Rihanna struggled to get out of bed, not a single scar on her body. How could this be? She had been kidnapped for about 36 hours, dragged around inhumanely, and she had been shot. She wasn't made of iron, nor was she a superhero with invulnerability. How could she be unscathed? Just as she was about to think deeply about it, a sharp pain in her head rang alarm bells. The sharp pain immediately cleared Rihanna's mind. She began to look around and realized this was her home. More specifically, it was the home she shared with Riley. However, this house, as her husband Riley, rarely came back. As a wife, she could only wait aimlessly in this house for a husband who never returned. But how could she be here? She was familiar with the furnishings of the entire house, but Rihanna knew in her heart that this wasn't her home. It was a cage she had tried to trap Riley in, using marriage as the lock, ultimately trapping only herself. The intense headache made Rihanna think she had been brain damaged by the kidnappers. When the smart home appliances automatically adjusted the lighting in the house, she fell onto the sofa and accidentally touched the TV remote. The time displayed on the TV stunned her. She even forgot to breathe. She had returned to 5 years ago. Rihanna's legs felt unsteady, and she stumbled back to the bedroom, where she saw her phone on the bedside table. Fingerprint unlock, and the screensaver was a photo of her in a graduation gown. She really had returned to 5 years ago. Rihanna's eyes involuntarily became moist. After all, as someone who had been on the brink of death, the feeling of being alive was so real and warm. But before Rihanna could marvel at the preciousness of life, the timing of her rebirth makes her feel rather helpless. May 21st, the second day of her marriage to Riley. If it had been 1 day earlier, she would have definitely not married Riley. But just yesterday, she had gotten a marriage certificate with him, and Riley was a soldier. And he has already returned to his unit, so she can't even see him to proceed with the divorce. Back then, Rihanna had counted on this. She bet that Riley wouldn't take the initiative to divorce her, and she could use time to move him with her love and sincerity. But she had lost this bet completely. Loving someone to the point of hysteria would only hurt the other and make oneself suffer. Of course, since God had given her another chance to live, Rihanna naturally wanted to live a brilliant life. She had been dead in her previous life. She had truly let go of her infatuation with Riley and the unattainable dream of a happy life with him. Now, she wanted to live a serene and detached life. Yesterday, she and Riley had become legally married, but Riley had gone to his unit the same day, so she had drunk the whole night. It was really harmful to her health. In her previous life, how could she have been so stubborn, refusing to let go of her affection to him? Rihanna found some hangover tea in the storage cabinet at home, brewed a pot, ate her, alleviating her headache with it and clearing her mind. She took a shower. Applying a facial mask, Rihanna began to plan her future life. Looking back at her past, Rihanna couldn't help but regret. She had been through many ups and downs. She looked at the little red book on the bedside table, frowning slightly. After all, it was self-inflicted. She decided to lock the certificate in the drawer, temporarily setting aside the reality of being tied to Riley. After all, in her previous life, she and Riley were not truly husband and wife. At the prime age of 21 in this life, she was determined to be a career-driven, independent woman. She never expected that the once loathing husband was then often by her side, trying to have a spicy night with her.